Alright. Hello again, Adventures, and welcome to another exciting daily vlog. This is daily vlog number 242. And today, bit exhausted. So, shortly after recording my vlog from yesterday, get up to go upstairs and get some food that had been bought for me. Some just my little Ensure shakes. And as I am about to walk up the stairs, my room is entirely carpeted, which is nice because living in the basement, it gets relatively cold, and concrete is very, very cold. So the carpet actually not only does it keep me from like frostbiting my toesies when I get up, but it also acts as a bit of insulation because concrete loses and gains heat very, very quickly. So it's a nice little bit of insulator. And I'm generally not a huge fan of carpet. I usually prefer hardwood, but I like it here. So I'm going up, and as I get to the base of the stairs are not carpeted, but in front of them is. I step on the carpet directly in front of the stairs, and it squishes. It is soaked. And this is the second time in like, I don't know, 6 to 9 months, somewhere around there, that I've woken up to a portion of my carpet being soaked. The last time, our water heater just broke, and all of the water inside of it just went all over the floor. And because of how... And the water heater is in the unfinished portion of the basement. I live in the finished portion of the basement. However, because the floor is sloped in the basement so that everything eventually runs to the one drain that is in my basement, which is right over here in my bathroom. It meant that all the water from the water heater went and it pooled in my bathroom, and then it just leaked under the door into the into my room. And it actually ended up damaging a little bit of the carpet because, another fun fact, anywhere else, you get your carpet wet and you dry it off as much as you can, and then you open a bunch of doors and windows and stuff and let it air dry, and that's perfectly fine. In a basement, that doesn't work. Basements are generally very high humidity, and they are perfect places where mold will grow. So in the basement, if the rug is allowed to remain wet for really any period of time, it will immediately start to mildew and mold. And because of my agoraphobia, I can't leave the basement for very long. Like, in general, in an average week, if I spend 15 minutes outside of the basement, that's a really, really big deal, and something big must have happened. So living in a room full of mold spores is not something that is conducive to healthy living. So whenever the carpet gets wet, I freak out. My anxiety goes into overdrive, and I think, great, this is how I die. But it wasn't our water heater. Water heater working perfectly fine. We had these great guys come out. They installed a brand new water heater for us. It was great. That's not what's going on. So I go into the unfinished portion of the basement to figure out why in the world is my carpet wet when the only thing over there is the stairs and a wall. Well, on the other side of the wall is our HVAC system. And so I go over and I see there's this thing, this little plug that comes out that's got a tube running from it. And it is just shooting water out of it. I have no idea why. But I run upstairs and I wake up my brother because it's still relatively early in the morning. And we notice it's the HVAC system, so my brother turns off the HVAC system, and I get just a cloth and I hold it up there to just stop the water from coming out. Eventually we realize I can't remember the word, but it starts with a C, and it's similar to condenser. It's like condensalate or something like that. Basically, on an air conditioner, the way that it works is it has a condenser thing in it. And when it gets really, really humid out, a lot of moisture collects on that. And so there's actually a thing built into air conditioners to get rid of it. It's a pump. Again, I can't remember what it's called, but it starts with a C and it's got lots of syllables. Someone in the comments can tell me exactly what it is. And we have that on our system because it's a very nice system. We have, I can't remember what it's called. We have an air conditioner that goes through our entire house, whatever that's called. Central air. There we go. We have central air. And it was one of the things that when my brother was looking for a house, that was one of our non-negotiables. It's like, no, we want central air. The house that we lived in before did not have central air. It had central heat, I guess, but didn't have central air. And so, like, we always just had to have these window-mounted units, which caused no end of trouble for us. Window-mounted units are great if that's what you use, but they're a pain in the ass. And so, yeah, it was just not fun, and it caused so many different problems. So, getting back to the problem, we can't figure out what's going on. So we turn it off, and eventually it stops leaking. We're like, well, that's a plus. We turn it back on, and like 10 minutes later, it starts leaking again. We can't figure out why. But because the walls built between the unfinished portion of the basement and the finished portion of the basement were not sealed correctly, all the water from the pump just seeped underneath the wall and into my room and started damaging my carpet. I spent the majority of yesterday with a shop vac just continually going over this section of the carpet and sucking all the water out, and then waiting for an hour or two and then going and sucking more water out because for whatever reason water just kept appearing. And I have no idea where it came from. Yeah, I spent the entirety of yesterday until the thing I'm going to talk about at the end here, repeatedly going back and trying to do everything I could to save this carpet. Because the last time it happened, we saved most of the carpet, but we didn't get all the water out of one particular area, and it started to mold, and we were forced to just cut that entire section of carpet out. And so now I have this random place where you can see the concrete. Luckily enough for me, I got a bunch of fans, and because I have this really shitty tower fan, and it's perfectly fine if you want something that will make it seem like you thought about a breeze at one point. And I generally use it because my panic attacks shoot my temperature up, like skyrocket it to almost fever temperatures. And so in general, because I have a lot of panic attacks and I'm trying to go to sleep, I'll have this thing, and it's remote controlled, and that's one of the only things I like about it. So I'll turn it on, and it'll give enough of a breeze that it helps me cool my body down. But it's not good, and it's a tower, and you can't point it down in any way, shape, or form. So I can't really use that to dry it. So I went and I got some more regular fans, and just pointed one of them directly at the spot where I'd been sucking water out of it all day, and just left it on overnight. Woke up this morning, it's perfectly dry, no indication that there's any mold growing. The carpet itself, because all of this was DIY, the carpet's not glued down. So I was actually able to lift it up and check underneath and actually vacuum water up from underneath too and everything. So underneath it's perfectly fine. The concrete is still sealed underneath it. They just didn't glue any of the carpet. So yeah, so that was the nightmare of yesterday. And because of the weird angles I had to get into to suck all the water out, because I'm in incredibly bad shape and I have problems with my hips. I have a degenerative hip disorder. Um, because of all the problems that I have with all that. I basically had to sit in a chair and just lean over and vacuum it all out. And so when I woke up this morning, all the muscles in my groin are on fire because I was actually using them. And if anybody doesn't know, you use your groin for everything. Like, I pulled my groin back when I was doing martial arts. I did a kick that I shouldn't have done without warming up, and I actually pulled a muscle in my groin. And I found out very quickly, you use your groin for everything. Everything. Even just sitting, you're using your groin. So yeah, I woke up and that's hurts really, really bad. But again, it's a pain that I recognize. It's a pain of, hey, you haven't used these muscles in a very, very long time. So I don't think I pulled anything. I think I just worked out muscles that I don't normally use. So yeah, that was the vast majority of yesterday. And the entire time just freaking out. Oh, and the problem was the little tube that went down, it got clogged because that's what happens when it gets really humid, is eventually like dust and stuff will get on the coils, the cooling coils in the air conditioner. And then when water condenses onto it, it will just bring all the dust and bugs and stuff that sit on there and die. It'll bring all of that with it. And it just created this perfect little plug at one of the junctions. And so, yeah, we had this dude come out who's great. We have this great relationship with the HVAC people. They come out literally, I think it's twice a year, to do tune-ups on our HVAC system. Because here's another fun fact. Preventative maintenance is always 100% cheaper than repair work. There is never a situation where preventative maintenance will cost you more than repairing something. Unless it is something that you're not planning on repairing, you're just going to buy a brand new one, then you might be able to get away with not doing preventative maintenance. But preventative maintenance is good. So he comes out, and the tube, I wasn't sure how to open the tube because there was no like screws or anything. It was just tubing. And it was all pressure fitted. So all he did was just pulled all the little bits apart, and he looked into it, and sure enough, there was this really disgusting looking plug of sludge in there that the dude pulled out, threw it away, and now everything's working fine. He showed me, because we don't need an HVAC tech to do that, he showed me exactly what he did. He's like, yeah, you can do this on your own. You don't need to call us. Which I was very happy about. So yeah, just really, really not a fun day. However, the day ended fairly nicely. Because I paid for the deluxe edition of Visions of Mana, which came with 24 hours of early access. So I have already started playing Visions of Mana. I've got the first 3 episodes of my Visions of Mana playthrough series recorded. I'm going to be uploading them. There is a problem with the recording where whenever like a lot of movement is happening, it just doesn't look good. It didn't happen on my test recordings. So I wasn't expecting it. So the video quality is not the greatest for the first 3. I've made an adjustment. I'm going to do some tests today to see if that fixes it. But I think it was just my recording bitrate was too low. So yeah, I've made some adjustments. If you're watching it, like I watch it on a big 4K screen, and it's massively noticeable to me, like pixelation everywhere. I'm hoping if you're watching on a slightly smaller screen, it won't be as bad, and the audio quality is perfectly fine. It's just the video. But yeah, so I've started that because I want to play the game more. Probably going to get a few more recordings done today. I don't know when I'm going to premiere the series. It's going to be as soon as I can make thumbnails for it, because I'm going to do thumbnails and everything for this. As soon as I can make thumbnails for it, I'm going to put the thumbnails in and then just start uploading them. I don't know what the upload schedule is going to be. It'll be based on what my brain can handle. But I've got 3 episodes already. So I'm happy about that. I hope you guys are excited. Yeah. It never fails. anytime I start to get kind of a hold on my life, something breaks. And then I have to pay, at least for part of it, because I do live here. Yeah, as of right now, just due to how bills fell this month, yeah, I have just on food expenses and repair costs, as of right now, I have spent significantly more than my my disability payment for this month. So I am less than broke right now. So that's not fun. But hopefully next month will be a little bit nicer, and we can get the finances for the house into a little bit better place. But oh boy, has this not been fun. Anyway, it's all for me today. See you guys next time. All right, so bye-bye.